I was born in 1988. I saw the internet arriving in people's homes. I remember my mother using the ancestor of mobile phones. And I remember people being amazed by what the French called the Minitel. Then I had the chance to witness the very first video games coming into our living rooms. The NES, the Super NES, and then the PlayStation. Naturally, I got sucked into that era of entertainment. When the internet arrived, I started creating websites, forums, and scripts. I felt the urge to connect to the world. And naturally, this became my job. I studied computer science, also because, to be honest, it was the only thing that caught my attention as a teenager. I spent so much time on the computer that it became an obsession. When I graduated, I had another stroke of incredible luck. It was the same time Apple released the first iPhone. I got my hands on the SDK, and for the first time, I was able to solve my friend's problem just by coding. This was a bridge to solving real user problems with technology. I felt super useful. I later realized that since I started coding right when the iPhone was released, I quickly became a senior in that technology. Even so, I had just graduated. Thanks to that, I had so many job opportunities. It was a crazy career start. I met incredibly smart people who saw the business opportunity while I was just working on things I love. And this is how I ended up working for startups. Because at that time, only startups were crazy enough to build businesses on mobile. The small company I joined in 2011 eventually got acquired by GoPro, just as action cameras were booming. This was my first connection with business. Me, a simple mobile engineer, I just discovered that you could earn millions by coding an app and selling it. It felt like an Eldorado. So I jumped into entrepreneurship and started working on my own project. A few years later, I discovered the hard things about hard things. Creating an app, finding users, selling a business, this is not as easy as it sounds. Success came a few years later though, when I finally co-founded Comet, along with 3 other great guys. I met them through experiments, the power of the internet, and human connections. Together, we raised nearly 20 million euros, hired almost 100 people, and experienced almost everything you can imagine. In less than 3 years, Comet became the leading tech community in France. Our clients were the biggest European companies. Then, the stress and pressure became too strong for our young shoulders. Burnout was banging on the door, so I made the decision to preserve my health and quit. It was not an easy decision, but I needed to find a more human adventure. Creating, building, assembling, hacking. I wanted to retrieve the energy of making things, simple step after simple step. I realized that talented people don't necessarily need more knowledge. They need motivation and sparring partners. They need to connect with people who truly care about what they're building. They need accountability. They need someone on their side to challenge their ideas, to ask them, what did you do yesterday and what will you do tomorrow? You can build anything as long as you're motivated enough. All you need is time and motivation. And this is what Nocturne is about. I'm building a program to help any creators, sharing knowledge, resources, and giving them the accountability to pursue their dream. I am your first believer. If you have an idea, something you truly care about, start now. Join the first batch on Nocturne.build.